What's up, guys? This is Chicken Man, or Chris, and this is episode 2 of No Croissants, the only Godzilla 1998 focused podcast. And this is my co-host.
Hello, I'm David. I'm here again.
And my buddy Nick.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be back.
And we have our first special guest. So these are two amazing, talented artists that I've been working with the past few weeks on our own music project, LTB and ONE. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Well, it's certainly the first time I've been described as an amazing, talented artist, but I'm very happy to be here.
I'm only here because Chris said he's not dropping the album if I don't participate. So, hi, I'm 1AM.
And that is true. The reason why LTB and ONE in the Morning are here is because they do not know a single thing about Godzilla. I wanted their musical talent here to give their unfiltered opinion on Godzilla, the album. A strange tie-in album that was released alongside the 1998 Godzilla film. This album seemingly almost has nothing to do with the character it's named after, or even the movie it was released alongside. Let's read on some facts. So, Godzilla the album was a soundtrack released alongside 1998 Godzilla, of course, on May 19th, through Epic Records, and mainly consists of alternative rock songs. Some other statistics that I've pulled from Wikipedia include the soundtrack was a success, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and reaching platinum certification. The album was a commercial success and released through the US and Japan. So, the album has 15 tracks. It actually has one exclusive track released in Japan. That we'll be getting to later on. The album features The Wallflowers, Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page. I'm gonna fuck up this guy's name.
I believe in you, Chris.
Jamiroquai?
Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai.
Very close. It's Jamiroquai. You're forgetting it. You dropped a syllable.
Jamiroquai. Okay. Rage Against the Machine, Ben's Folds 5, Days of the New, Michael Penn, Fuel, Foo Fighters, Green Day, Silverchair, Fuzz Bubble, and of course, 2 samples from the actual score itself, created by David Arnold. So, the other interesting thing about this album was the actual movie's soundtrack didn't release alongside it. The actual movie's soundtrack didn't release until fucking 2009, I think. So for the longest time, this was the only music from the Godzilla 98 film that you could tangibly own and listen to on its own.
And to my knowledge, I think the score itself actually still isn't available for purchase in the US. You can get it as part of the Godzilla 50th anniversary box sets, but I don't think you can get it in the US.
That's hilarious.
They released it limited online, and you can get it. They have the complete score. It's a 3-disc CD set you can get. It's called the Godzilla Complete Score by David Arnold.
Yeah, and if you guys actually do listen to David Arnold's score, it is probably one of the highlights of that movie. One of the rare highlights of that movie.
I just found
he's super talented.
Score.
Yeah, he's actually, I believe he also did the music for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, so he's still he's obviously a great artist.
He's done a number, he cut his teeth on a lot of the 90s Bond films as well, so he's got a pretty decent resume.
Yeah, so...
Would you say that the score to this film is good, having seen it, and me having not?
Yeah, I mean, just, the score still slaps, dude. Really, even the opening titles, which is on this album, actually. It's just such a unique piece. It really ties together the movie's identity, in my opinion. But yeah, there's really only 2 David Arnold songs on this album. The rest is basically a mix of rock music, a little bit of hip hop. Not really. But
whatever Undercover is.
Yeah, wherever the fuck Undercover is. So,
Pop.
the main gist, we're we're basically just gonna go down the entire track list in order, one by one, and share our thoughts on each of the songs. LTB and ONE both listened to this album for the very first time just like an hour ago.
Last time.
And what a grueling hour that was. This entire album is almost an hour long.
59 minutes
not
of
only
my
that,
life I'll never get back.
And not only that, but there's actually additional versions of tracks that we're gonna somewhat go over. We're not gonna go too in depth on it, but I don't think there's a single other Godzilla fan on this god green earth that gives any single shit about this album besides me. And not only that, I'm also pretty sure I'm the only one that's actually gone through the trouble of trying to archive these under one window. So not only is the original album release out there, there's also the exclusive Japanese release that comes with a bonus track. There's also Puff Daddy's single CD, which comes with 4 different versions of Come With Me, the lead single, and also another version of Out There by Fuzzbubble. Not only that, but Jamiroquai also has his own single CD, which I did not obtain just yet, but that CD also has its own versions of Deeper Underground. So we'll get right into it. The first track on this album is a cover of Heroes by David Bowie, this time performed by the Wallflowers.
Boo.
Yeah. This might be a heresy to any music fans out there, but I actually wasn't that big of a fan of the original Heroes.
Yeah, that is heresy. I can't lie.
Yeah, I know this is your podcast, Chris, but I think you're done. Get out of here.
This is why I said it would be an interesting discussion, because you said earlier that you weren't a fan of this song, and I held back because I wanted to save it for when we were recording.
Probably for the best, yeah. I mean, but now he'll get chewed out by all of us on air.
Well, I'm glad the rest of us agree that the original is good.
Welcome to the roast of Chris.
So, gentlemen, I have to agree with Chris here. Just saying.
Oh my god!
I prefer. I'm just saying, gentlemen. I prefer the Wallflower version over the original.
Wow, that's even worse.
Really?
That's even worse.
All right, both Chris and Nick are out. It's just me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
not only, so I don't know.
That's actually interesting. So, Nick, can I ask you what about the Wallflowers version of Heroes that you like over the original David Bowie version?
I think the composition's better, and I'm gonna say it. I thought the lyrics, like the little changes that they did make, I thought was a little better, and the sound that they did with the guitar has like this different atmosphere that Bowie's doesn't seem to have there. I mean, that's the thing. I just the best way to describe it is like the vocals I liked better, and I like the arrangement better. That's basically it. And
so every reason you just
when I think of like the song, I don't think of the Bowie version. I think of this one. So
every reason you just gave is the reasons why I prefer the Bowie version.
Honestly,
yeah. There's probably a reason the guitar isn't there in the Bowie version, because it doesn't fucking work.
I will give it that. This version of Heroes, I do think, has its own identity, and I actually didn't even know that they changed the lyrics. Is that true?
I didn't really notice.
Right, there was 2 lyrics in like the second verse of it. I think they dropped, if I remember correctly, because I remember like there was something different about it. Like when I pulled up the original version, it was about I didn't pull it up recently, but a couple months ago I did, and I remember one of the lyrics was different.
For me, the Wallflowers version just kind of removes most of the emotion that's in the original, like the lyric changes I didn't even notice, but like the vocals are much more bland, and it just kind of turns it into a much more generic sounding song.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a much more. It's very flat and entirely overproduced, even for the time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We should also mention like who the Wallflowers are. Like it's Jacob Dylan. That's Bob Dylan's son singing this.
Oh my! I had zero clue.
Yeah, no, that is Bob Dylan's son.
That's crazy.
But
All I listen to is Kendrick Lamar, so I didn't know that.
All I can say is that if the original Heroes is like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 song, that this is like 7 or 6. It's not terrible. Like I could easily listen to it again.
dang,
But,
you're being generous. I would have given it like a 4.
God damn.
I mean, it's a totally serviceable cover.
I think it's possible.
It definitely sounds like a blockbuster movie tie-in version of a hero.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's
Like
kind of
it
the problem.
definitely feels like cheap and commercial, but I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine the way it is. You know.
Yeah, I'll settle on 6 out of 10, but like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's-
choose to listen to it over the David Bowie version, like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and you'll find that in this album there are a couple covers or remixes of a pre-existing song.
I can't wait to talk
Um,
about that. Honestly, I really can't.
Oh my god!
And
This
leading
one-
right
yeah.
into that, we'll get right to "Come With Me."
Go with me.
Ah,
Daddy
10 out of 10. 10 out of
and
10
Jimmy
easy.
Page.
This might be the greatest
Yeah,
song of
so-
all time, to be quite honest.
I agree.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It's one of the songs. So
One of the
the
songs of
most
all
interesting
time.
thing about the song is the beat is Kashmir, I think. Is that the song?
Yes, and also
yeah.
the funny thing about that, it is one of the only times Led Zeppelin has allowed people to sample their music. It's like this and a
Really?
single Beastie Boys song off Paul's Boutique. They have never allowed anyone else
This
to
is what
sample
he
their music.
chose?
This is what he chose, yes.
This is what they chose out of every
That's
fucking song.
Crazy.
I didn't even know that.
Must be
Yeah,
shocking to just use the original Kashmir in the soundtrack. You know?
Yeah, why did they
yeah,
make this?
Because Kashmir doesn't have Puff Daddy. That's why.
yeah.
yeah.
So puff that.
What? And you guys will find that why did they make this will be a very common question throughout this album.
Why did they make
So-
this album? Is the number one question.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously this is interesting because it's also the first song on the album that has unique written lyrics just for this. What did you guys think of the story that Puff Daddy is trying to tell throughout this song?
Man, I couldn't even pick up on that shit.
Such a fucking good bro.
I have a theory. I have a theory about it, but I'll let you guys go
Okay.
first.
I'm gonna read through the lyrics while you guys discuss. I wanna.
Yeah, I'll let you go first, Nick.
Okay.
I know what
All
you're
right.
talking about.
So, have you seen the music video? If you've seen the music video,
Oh, man.
and the song a little bit.
I mean, I have
Alright.
seen the music video. I've seen the music video.
Okay. So in the music video, he's sleeping with like this woman, and it turns out to be a dream. He wakes up, and Godzilla is like right outside his apartment building. And during the whole thing, he's running outside, like trying to get away from Godzilla. And then he magically like flies from the heavens, ends up in Times Square, and the rest of the lyrics are literally him dissing Godzilla in front of him. And he's talking about how he's in a bad relationship with him. So the whole context of the song is Puff Daddy is rapping about how much he hates Godzilla.
So do you think Godzilla's like a
Like he's in a bad love relationship with Godzilla, and he's rapping about how much he hates him.
So
That's
Puff,
literally
Puff
what
Daddy
it is.
fucked
Godzilla like
Godzilla.
a-
Is that what I'm
Say
hearing?
This is the first and only Godzilla diss track.
Yeah, I mean, so is Godzilla like a metaphor for his ex or something in this like
Yes.
song's context?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
And-
still feel
mean-
very strongly that Godzilla might be Puff Daddy's ex. I think that's more an interesting take on it.
I think that is
Might
the
be
more
interesting.
interesting take, to take it literally and just imagine this guy was fucking Godzilla. Because like,
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, if anything, if the internet has taught me anything, it's that. I
Rule
mean,
34,
yeah.
man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
P Diddy
dude,
and
there's
Godzilla.
someone out there for everyone.
I mean, in their
There's
relationship,
someone
Puff-
or something out there for everyone.
in their
and
relationship,
I
Puff
guess-
Daddy kind of looks like a power bottom of something.
Ignoring that, what do you guys think of Jimmy Page's performance on this track?
I mean, he's
know
playing the
what?
riff to Kashmir. It's a good riff.
That's true.
It's a good riff.
Yeah, I mean that's all I can say.
All right, cool.
The song is
So
pretty
I will
bad.
say it is funny. Like because I watched this movie, as a young kid before I even got to music. This was the first time I'd heard the riff to Kashmir. I didn't listen to Kashmir until later in my life, so I'm like, wait a second, this is that song from the Godzilla soundtrack.
Unfortunately, I had the same exact experience. My dad was bringing me the Target, and then Kashmir played on the radio, and I was like, holy shit, they fucking sampled the Godzilla song. Which, if you were to say that in front of anyone that knows anything about music, that's just like the worst thing ever.
I said that
my dad would
to my
probably
brother,
hang you.
Chris. Because I had the same experience. I had the CD first, and then we downloaded MP3. My brother got an MP3 of Kashmir on the iPod Nanos back in the early 2000s. I was like, yo, from the Godzilla soundtrack, they sampled it. My brother gave me the death stare. He's like, you heathen, no, this came first.
That is so fucking funny.
That's probably why they don't let people sample their music.
Speaking of
somehow they allowed it
funny,
to be associated with the Godzilla soundtrack.
Hey, look, that's not a bad thing. This album's better than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, bro. You keep its name out of your mouth.
The thing is, you mean that unironically, because I know you've slandered that album before.
So while we're on the subject of Come With Me, there's actually several different versions of it. And I don't believe everyone here has listened to every single version, but there's the radio version, which I wanted to talk about first.
Yes.
Fucking hilarious.
The best
would anyone like to
time.
explain? Would anyone like to explain why this version is so coveted?
Coveted? That's a good word for it. I'll take the reins here. As most people know, if you're playing a song on the radio, I'm blanking on the name. The FCC. They don't want you to swear on the radio, so naturally you can't have that in songs as well. So a lot of times artists will make a clean version of the song, and a lot of times you'll hear it on the radio nowadays. They just kind of like do some weird sound effects, kind of like twisting the words to sound like just gibberish.
Right.
Not the case here with "Come With Me." Puff Daddy, God bless him, had the galaxy brain idea to instead cover up the swears with Godzilla's roars.
Man, do I love him for it.
Genius. And this is the version that you'll hear in the music video too, but he released it as his own single on a separate CD, so that's how you know it's special.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, there's also the instrumental, nothing. It's literally just Kashmir. The Come With Me instrumental is just Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on the CD. But I guess it's Jimmy Page's version of that beat, obviously. And then we have the Come With Me remix, which I might be the only one out of this group that has heard it.
I haven't listened to it yet, no.
Just
I've burned it. I have the same CD you got.
Really?
I have not listened to it.
So I guess it'll just be us on this. So the Come With Me remix is completely different. It's like it's a completely new vocal take. It's a completely different beat. It's basically, I want to say it's like a freestyle. And I haven't had time to like super overanalyze it or anything, but it's pretty interesting. Has pretty much nothing to do with the original song other than he drops a few Come With Me's in there. So the fact that it's even called Come With Me at all is kind of interesting, but I would even go as far as to say though it's actually kind of better than the original Come With Me. If you like
Them's
more
fighting words,
like
Chris.
raw vocal takes like that. I mean, it wasn't like
it's really not hard for a song to be better than the original Come With Me.
I would argue it's very hard.
You guys are exaggerating a little bit. I do think "Come With Me" is a good song.
I don't think
it's
awful.
Single.
I think it's like I understand why it was the single and why it was made for this movie. It's the only song that sounds like it should be at all related to this movie. Well, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but like what I imagine the movie is like, this song sounds like it relates to it. But I would never listen to this song if it wasn't for being on this podcast right now.
And that kind of brings me into a subject I did want to touch upon. So, like I said, LTB and ONE don't know what Godzilla is. I mean, I'm sure they know what Godzilla is, but like they don't know much
Yeah,
about
I haven't
it.
seen this. I know
So-
nothing about this film. So
I have not
Yeah.
seen this movie.
And so we touched upon this in the first review too, because we were talking about the artistic lesson or implications of the movie itself, and we wanted to mention that the original Godzilla film was a response to the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing that only happened, I believe, like 10, 15 years earlier. Obviously horrible, like thousands of people were killed in a nuclear blast. And at the time, I believe you weren't able to make like a straight up military film back then. So they created this monster that was created by nuclear, I think it was nuclear tests or something. And then it was like a mutated dinosaur.
It's
So-
the Castle Bravo.
Right. So, Godzilla comes and like I said, it's one big metaphor for a nuclear bomb, right? The movie takes itself super seriously. It's a super like somber, like depressing movie. It's actually like beautiful. If you guys ever want to watch the original.
yeah, no, I definitely plan on watching the original because I've heard a lot of good stuff about it.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't
no,
heard
it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
good or bad stuff about this version. I just haven't heard about this version.
Yeah. So, what's interesting about this 1998 version is it takes the same basic plot of the original movie, but doesn't understand why they made those decisions in the original movie. So the movie has almost nothing to do. Like it has basically the same, like none of the same, like actual like metaphorical elements of the first movie. It's basically just big lizard, and then he's dancing the Puff Daddy Jimmy Page, and then he just dies from a missile at the end, and there's no lesson learned. America doesn't. It would have been interesting if maybe the movie was about how America has finally like, kind of atoned for its sins that it caused during World War II.
That's funny.
But no, it's just kind of big lizard, and America was super brave and stopped it. So, and then here's a rap album inspired by it.
It's not all. It's actually mostly not rap.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing with Come
No.
With Me is that obviously the instrumentals rock, but like it being a rap song does not fit on this album at all.
Yeah,
'cause
it's-
everything
it's-
else is like 2000s rock. Well, not 2000s, but like bordering on 2000s
Mhm.
rock.
I would call
No,
it a
it's-
90s alternative rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And obviously, it's a compilation album, so I think trying to put it under one like label is just like
Yeah.
futile, because a lot of the songs you'll find will just have like nothing to do with
Yeah,
each other.
I would say a
like,
lot of them
in
fit into
genre
similar
and
genres, but like
right.
Come With Me and Undercover definitely stand out as being very different.
Man, you love Undercover. I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm
Still nice
excited
of them to
about
choose
that one.
Undercover as the last song on the album before the orchestra music.
Might be the best
Um,
album closer of all time, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think it's better than Mortal Man and what was it? Who Will Survive in America as far as album endings go.
Yeah, 100%.
So next is a song that Nick has a very interesting theory on. Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai.
Oh, he nearly got it.
Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai. Yeah. I actually tried. You guys are gonna think I'm a dumbass. I tried hitting up Jamiroquai to get him on this
Fucking
episode.
hell. Jamiroquai.
It's not going to happen, I don't think.
I don't think you're gonna.
Chris is
I mean,
bringing them
A,
back.
I don't think you'll get a response, and B, I don't think you'll ever say their name right.
I probably would have offended them if they came on.
Yeah, just
I also don't even know how many members are in the band.
I think it's just
I
like
just know the
one
lead
guy
singer.
in a touring band or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Okay.
It might be like a Tame Impala situation.
Is it like Gorillas where they'll get like someone else to do the drums? or
No,
something?
I
No.
don't think so. It's not a Gorillaz type situation. I think it's more like a Tame Impala type situation.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
like that.
Point is,
All right. So-
this song fucking slaps. I'm just putting that out
Oh
there.
yeah,
So good.
it's actually one of my favorite off the album. It actually like completely holds up on its own, and like I said, Nick has like a very interesting theory on the lyrics itself.
Yeah. So you want me to dive into it?
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. So, Deeper Underground, the whole lyrics are set up from Godzilla's perspective, which is interesting. So, like, what gives it away is, like, the first couple lyrics says, something's come to rock me, I can't keep my head, I get nervous in the New York City streets where my legacy treads. I know I'm better off standing in the shadows far from humans with guns, but now it's too late, there's no escape from what they have done. and then here's the other lyric that finally does give it away. It says, some people with a pocket full of money and an eye full of hate take a pleasure in destruction of the very thing that they try to create. Somebody tell me, why does all mankind only tamper and touch, have a habit where they bite off more than they can chew, and now it's too much? And then they got the, I'm going deeper underground, you know? And then they're like, there's too much panic in this town. But yeah, it's from Godzilla's perspective, which is crazy.
So
and at least it's a song that relates to the movie, unlike half of this fucking album.
Nick, so you're telling me,
surprisingly, it does have a tie-in with the first Godzilla movie, because it does actually hold the accountability to mankind making its own hubris from Godzilla. So actually, it does have some of the 50 movie in there.
Now, Nick,
I even argue this song is more faithful to the first movie than the fucking '98 remake was.
Oh yeah, I agree, 100%.
None of those themes carry over to this movie at all. Like, there's never a point in the story where the characters like kind of like recognize that Godzilla is a direct like fault of humans' own actions, right? So that's why I think it's so interesting, because that the song actually like managed to take that angle. And not only that, it's also, as far as I know, the only other song in this franchise that takes place from Godzilla's perspective.
Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you, Chris. I was gonna say this.
Shin
Fuck
Godzilla.
you. Other than Shin Godzilla, he finally said it. He said it.
Like I
was waiting
again,
for it.
another moment in Godzilla '98 that clearly inspired Shin Godzilla.
Yes. Yes.
Deeper Underground walk, so who will know could run.
Yes. Another cool fact, actually, I just found out when I was pulling up the lyrics to read them to you. So the song actually won the nomination for the British Award for Best Video of the Year for the music video. And what's funny is it's a polar opposite to Come With Me. So Come With Me has Puff Daddy ranting at Godzilla about how much he hates him, but then in Jamiroquai's video, Godzilla breaks through the theater and all the crowd is like running, and Jamiroquai's like, "Yo, Godzilla's attacking! Let's break it down!" Like he's like getting all funky and stuff, dancing on the freaking theater seats, like, you know, Puff Daddy and Heroes. Yeah, like Puff Daddy and Heroes are like, yo, Godzilla's destroying the city, everybody run, and then Jamiroquai's like, yo, Godzilla's destroying the city, let's break it down.
Yeah, and the music video is actually unironically kind of a highlight. It's, you know, a big budget obviously because of the movie, and I don't know, it's just super interesting visuals, super interesting scenery, and obviously it ties well into the movie with Godzilla going through the theater screen and causing a mass like flash flood in the entire building. So I don't know if anyone else besides me and Nick saw that, but it was a pretty good music video.
It really was really cool. Did you guys see it?
No, I have not seen it.
I did not, no. I've only seen the Come With Me video. And the Wallflowers, the Heroes one.
So I want to know what you guys think, LTB and ONE, seeing as how this seems to be directly related to Godzilla in a way, but
yeah, I don't think this song's a
guys don't give a
highlight
shit
for
about
me.
that.
But I didn't hate it, that's for sure, and I thought it was definitely one of the better ones on the album, one of the more tolerable songs on the album, and yeah, I did like it, but it's not a highlight. I would say there are two other songs I would call my favorites on the album.
Oh yeah, Undercover.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I wasn't really expecting this type of song from Jamiroquai, but it's like a pretty good song. It's not one of my favorites in the soundtrack, but, you know, quite good.
All right, cool. So if you guys are ready, we can start talking about No Shelter by Rage Against the Machine.
You mean the best song on the album?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This is the highlight for me, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the one song that I wasn't going, please let the suffering end.
And I might be biased because like I really like Rage Against the Machine, but this is unironically like kind of one of their best songs. Like, yeah, you could say "Killing in the Name," "Bulls on Parade," but no, like
they wasted one of their best songs on Godzilla the album.
Right? It's not on any of their albums. It's only
and
on
I
Godzilla.
googled this because I was like, surely this is just a Rage Against the Machine song, and they put it on this album. And it's like, no, it was made for this album, which is crazy to me.
Dude, they name drop Godzilla in the lyrics.
It's the only song on the album that does.
I didn't notice that. Well, my thought was that I actually haven't listened to much Rage Against the Machine. I've always meant to, and I've never gotten around to it. So technically, this was like one of my first exposures to Rage Against the Machine.
God.
It was on fucking Godzilla the album.
So glad.
But I really like this song. So
yeah, so I don't listen to a lot of Rage Against the Machine either. But correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of their music, like even like the name Rage Against the Machine,
they're very
it's like kind of like an anti-fascist.
Yeah,
they're
like,
very
it's a very
political
like
band,
anti-fascist.
So I just find it so funny that they agreed to do a song on this album.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
like the lyrics, like are completely, totally like anti-capitalist. Like the song, the lyric where they name drop Godzilla is, I believe it's Godzilla, pure motherfucking filla. Keep your eyes off the real killer, which is like.
That's exactly it.
Keep your eyes on the real killer.
On the real killer, sorry.
Right. No, it says keep your eyes off the real killer, actually, Nick.
Because Godzilla is distracting.
I wonder if anyone who worked on this album looked into that at all.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so
funny story about that. I wanted to add this in. The music video for it actually has the 98, like a mock-up of the 98 poster, but it has like a noose next to his foot
that's cool.
on it when they say Godzilla, pure filler. So no, they are in on it.
They really got an anti-Godzilla song on a Godzilla album.
Yes.
Godzilla's an op. Dude, and I think the interesting thing about the music video is I think part of it's lost media.
Really?
If I correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's because I think I sent it in the chat earlier. It cuts off near the end, and I like could not find the full music video. And not only that, and this kind of goes for all the music videos. This movie obviously came out like 7 years before YouTube was a thing, so they didn't. But when YouTube became a thing, they like didn't bother uploading any of these music videos except for Deeper Underground. So there's probably like a HD copy of all these music videos that is
they really
just lost media.
Fucking abandoned this album. Like half of it isn't on Spotify. The music videos aren't on YouTube. Like they were just like, forget this ever happened. Yeah. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If you want to listen to this album, you have to track down a CD or pirate it because half of it's not on streaming either.
We definitely didn't pirate it.
Well, I didn't. Well, you guys did technically. I had the files. I bought it. I just accidentally put it in my Google Drive. Oh, for illegal reasons. Just so
I'm at least glad the Rage Against the Machine song is one of the ones you can listen to on Spotify.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, this song's actually interesting, and like I said, it uses the movie itself, or at least the way I interpreted that lyric is people kind of like get too invested in like blockbuster movies and art and media, and they kind of ignore like the world's actual problems. You know what I mean? Kind of like, and I thought that was interesting because it reminded me of like when Spider-Man was trending while like the Amazon was on fire. So I don't know. That's the way I interpreted it. Anyway.
I mean, no, that's pretty much right on the money with what the song's
It's very,
about.
very ironic that a song with that lyric that we were just talking about is on this album. On what I can only assume is very much a cash grab movie and a cash grab album for that matter.
If I may, I did find the one of my friends uploaded the music video for the Rage Against the Machine, and he found the Ben Folds 5 one for Air. Now the Air one is weird because all it is just them in what looks like a empty classroom with them kind of standing on desks. It's really art housey, but it doesn't make any sense in context of Godzilla.
Make sure to send that to me because I didn't even know there was an Air music video.
Yes, there is.
Like,
I can't believe.
I swear we're the only people here documenting this
fucking album. Like I thought there would just be the one for the Diddy song. So There being
No,
like what 4 music videos for this album is crazy.
And supposedly
fair-
there's one for Foo Fighters song, but I haven't been able to find it yet. Supposedly,
Really?
Yes, the Foo Fighters
Really?
one is supposedly there.
Well, if we're talking about it, should
That
we
is so
start? Should we
interesting.
get into talking about Air?
Oh yeah, of course. So
Yo,
Air is actually one of my
realize-
favorites.
Just a quick realization. I think that Rage the Machine kind of included this track on the soundtrack because this is the cinema industry, right?
Right.
So by having it on the soundtrack, kind of like, lol, you played yourself type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
For sure.
Mo was saying was that I don't know how it got past the people working on the album. Like, it's a pretty obvious lyric.
I
So
didn't listen to it.
They did this shit.
I
on
wouldn't be
purpose.
surprised if
Sure.
anyone involved in this album or this movie never listened to this fucking album.
No,
Well-
I'm convinced they listened to him. I think what it is just like at the time they're at their peak, and it's like money. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey guys,
Yeah,
you want to
I
get in
mean-
here? Like money for us. you
Yeah,
know?
because that song was released right after Evil Empire, which is their second album. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, they never really had a poorly received album. So
And it makes me wonder if Toho had to approve this album too. Toho being the company, for those that you don't know, that the company that owns Godzilla.
I would assume
course.
that they would have had to approve everything to do with it. So
Right.
I mean, I doubt they
Um,
listened to it, but like, well, someone.
I mean,
probably
then
did.
again, though, Sony released the Spider-Verse soundtrack, and I'm like actually shocked that like Disney like wrote a pass on like XXXTentacion being on the album and shit.
well, because
So,
that's Sony, not
Yeah.
Disney, because it's Spider Man.
right. I think the Sony situation's a bit different because I don't know exactly how it works, but I have a feeling that like Sony can like approve whatever Spider-Man shit they want.
They can because
Yeah. Well,
ultimately
they
have-
basically
Right.
they own the character, so they license shit to Disney, but they own everything else.
Right. That's so foul, bro.
Anyways,
So-
Well, it was because years and years and years ago, basically Marvel sold, I think, X-Men
Yeah.
and Spider-Man, and before they ever made their own movies, really. And then when they started
Right.
making their own movies, Sony and Fox were like, "Fuck you, you ain't getting your characters back." So
Yeah, that shit's funny as fuck.
anyways, Air.
So,
Right,
Go
Air,
ahead.
Air. So, Air by Ben Folds 5. Oh my god, I keep fucking that up. Ben Folds 5. I did that earlier too. So, Air is like unironically probably one of the strongest in the album, or at least in my opinion.
Okay.
The lyrics seem to be about a near-death experience, possibly like a suicide or like just a drowning. And because of that, you get this like very like somber, like melancholy song, but it's actually like quite beautiful, or at least in my opinion. Does it have anything to do with Godzilla? Absolutely not. You can maybe interpret that like maybe it's from the perspective of like someone in the
Godzilla killed
city,
himself.
but I
Like
don't think
Survivor.
so.
I don't know.
so the song plays in the movie when Audrey and Nick meet up at the little drugstore when he's getting the pregnancy
Right.
test for the
Yeah.
test Godzilla. That's when the song plays
Exactly.
in the movie. But that's
I
it.
thought it was nice to have a more somber moment on the album. I don't
Love
care about the
this on
track
this one.
much. Like, I thought it was okay. I wouldn't call it a highlight. I wouldn't call it one of my favorites. I mean, if I listen to it again, I might like it more. But yeah, it was nice to have something a little bit of a different speed on the album, a little bit of a different tone.
It's no Undercover, but you know, it's pretty good.
I can't wait till we get to actually talk about that fucking song.
I can't get over that. It's the last song on the track.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, this
Anyway.
is one of the songs I have no memory of, despite listening to the album not too long ago, like a couple
Really?
hours ago. Once we get out of the singles on this album, it's pretty forgettable to me.
It gets rough.
Yeah.
You guys are so rude. This is better than To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, Mr.
Oh,
Morale.
easily.
combined.
Yeah, no. You know,
Easily.
Kendrick's mid
Easily
compared to
floors it.
Godzilla, the album, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the new Mozart, guys.
So what did you think of Area 1?
Oh, it's my turn to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the hook on this one.
Yeah.
I love the progression. I love just how it flows. I was kind of taken off guard by the piano. Like, if you hear No Shelter, Deeper Underground and stuff, and then you hear the piano, you're just like, is this the same soundtrack? But I like this track. It's a good track.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I hated it or anything. I thought it was decent.
Yeah,
But,
there is definitely some tonal
yeah.
whiplash going on for sure.
I
there
believe
is
it's also
some.
one of the only on streaming.
I think it is. I have the album up on Spotify. Yeah, it's one of the only ones on streaming.
It's so crazy to me.
But I do like it, but it felt a little too slow and a little too long. But like one said, I like the hook. So, but the verses, I can't remember anything about them, to be honest.
It can't possibly be worse than Macy Day Parade. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get the Macy's Day
when do we get
soon.
the Macy Day Parade?
That's
real
we still got one more song. To get through.
It's funny because in my opinion, the next 4 songs are like complete misses. Just 4 in a row.
Oh, not really.
I'd argue on one of those. So
okay,
I would
we'll
also
get to
argue
it.
on
We'll
one
get
of
to
those.
it. So next up is Running Knees by Days of the New.
Man, this song was fucking boring.
I kind of liked it.
I kind of liked it as well. It feels like some Walmart Dire Straits or something.
Walmart Dire
Straits.
I can
Like
see that.
Dire
Yeah.
Straits.
I literally wrote really average rock song. That's the only thing I could even be bothered to put on the notes for this. And I hated the singer's voice so much.
The
I don't
voice
pointed a
is-
gun to my
it's kind of
head.
annoying.
I know nothing about this band, but I do not like the singer at all.
They're kind of considered
You
to be like
pointed a
one of the
gun to my
better
head right
post-grunge
now.
bands out there.
I have
Not that
never
that's
heard
saying
of them.
much.
It might be their worst song, maybe, if you decide to check them out. I don't know.
If you pointed a gun at my parents and said, "I'm gonna execute them," if you don't tell me a single lyric from Running Knees by Days of the
You
New.
couldn't even remember the fucking
They're gonna
title.
die.
I'm
It's
just gonna
so
hope.
fucking forgettable.
You know
I
what?
listened
If I
to
was in
this
that
like 30
situation,
minutes ago.
I would just hope that the title is in the song somewhere.
When
Just be like,
hope-
what, did
I
they say
hope-
running knees?
when I was a kid and I used to like put the CD into like my audio player we had in the car back in the early 2000s, when it got to this song, I swear I thought the disc was jamming because there's like the I always skipped it. I always skipped the song. I thought the disc was jamming right when it
You're like,
started.
nah, must be a scratch. Fuck this song.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this must be a mistake. Let's skip that. And then I go all the way to Brain Stew, which is I think also one of the other better songs in the album.
Yeah, I would say
It's
describing
not
this
even a
song
song
as
from the album.
I would say describing this song as a scratch on the CD is pretty accurate. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. He has me fucking dead. I don't remember a single fucking thing from the song. I don't remember how the beat goes. I don't remember any of the lyrics. And I
It's
listened to this like
scratched from my
45
memory.
minutes ago.
Yep,
I only,
pretty much
I
the
only
same.
remember one line where they go running knees or something.
I don't remember that. Fuck.
Man, I mean, at least my prediction about them saying running knees was correct. So I guess my parents are alive.
I don't
What does
know.
that mean?
No, it's
I
Chris's
actually
parents,
don't know
remember?
that's true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just saying, if I was in the same situation, I'd just assume that they said running knees somewhere.
If I was in that situation, I'd be like, "Mom, I hope it's a quick, painless death." Like, the song is so forgettable. Even more forgettable is Macy Day Parade by Michael Penn.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you
fuck
about
this
that
song,
one,
man. I mean, I would have said this was the worst before I finished the album. But man, this song, it feels like the only way I can describe it is someone doing a bad cover of Hallelujah, but they're not even singing Hallelujah.
Oh man. Oh, I remember the beginning. Macy Day Parade, and that's it. I don't remember anything else. This song is so forgettable.
Well, your
This
parents are
song
still
was-
okay then, Chris.
Oh, poignant.
The only thing I remember from the song is in the movie when it plays is when the military start making their little occupation in New York to try and stop Godzilla, and that's when the song starts
That's
playing.
a
and
weird
that's the only-
choice to have that song play.
Yeah, I know. Like
does?
they play like America. Yeah, it does. So it's right when they're getting everything set up. You can hear it briefly in the background for about a minute, and then it cuts to the soundtrack of David Arnold again.
I
I
didn't
honestly
even catch
just
that.
can't believe that of all the songs in this album, this one is in the movie.
Right?
So fucking bad, dude.
Hey, guys,
They
come
could have
on.
at least put Brains 2 in there or something.
I know, they
or-
could have
Fuck is Michael Penn.
And the funny
I've
thing,
never heard this man in my life.
He's a one-hit wonder. That's all you really need to know.
He's a one-hit wonder. Macy Day Parade is his hit.
Oh
I don't
my
think that this
God.
is his hit. I would hope
Guys,
not.
come on. Let's be honest for a moment. Like in a world where Drake's love girls, girls love girls exists. This
I'd
is
rather listen to that. I'd rather listen
look,
to Girls Want Girls than Macy Day Parade by Michael Penn.
Oh my god.
God,
What if Michael Penn is like, oh my god, someone finally reviewed this fucking album, and he watches it, and then he just sees us completely
He's like,
fucking railing his song.
Oh hell yeah,
Fucking
Godzilla the album
good.
was my big break. Let's see what these guys think.
Dude, he probably got like a nice paycheck from it.
I'm
dude.
sure he
Like,
did.
I hope he did. I hope he's living a nice, comfortable life and never has to
yeah.
think about
Again.
whatever the fuck this was. It's not
Anyone
even
else?
bad. I'm slandering it like it's the worst thing in the world. It's just fucking boring.
So
Yeah.
boring, dude. It's worse than bad. It's boring.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like a bad
Yeah.
song's funny.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's
Jake
what I
Paul
think is, like-
songs are funny.
Genuinely awful songs are better than really boring songs because genuinely awful songs are funny. Really boring songs, it's just like, when is it gonna end? Please. I need the next
Everyone remembers
song.
the lyrics to Friday. Everyone remembers the lyrics to fucking Every Day, bro. Everyone
Yeah,
remembers the
Justin
lyrics
Bieber's
to
I
Found a
could
Dollar in the
recite
Woods.
like the whole first verses of both of those, and not a single lyric from fucking Macy Day's Parade or whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, if we
Yeah.
want to talk about boring, I mean, the next song is, for me
Oh my
at
God,
least,
bro.
I don't even remember Walking
Actually,
the
really
Sky
like
by Fuel.
Walking the Sky.
Oh, I really liked the chorus on this song. I didn't care for much of the rest of it, but I thought it probably had one of the most solid choruses on the song, on the album rather than like a couple of songs like the Rage Against the Machine one and stuff like that. But like, I like the chorus on the song. Other than
I
that,
love-
do I care for it? No, but like, it was cool.
I'll say this much for it: for a movie soundtrack, like for an action movie soundtrack from the '90s, this is the closest that the soundtrack gets to being the usual new metal that would be on a action movie soundtrack from the '90s. So I'll respect it for that.
I really
yeah,
like
it's one of the songs of all time.
I rate this much higher than Macy Day Parade. I'll put it that way. I
Yeah,
thought
this
this
is
was
the thing is like
almost
once this
certainly a
song-
tolerable song.
Once the song comes on after Macy Day Parade, it's just so much better.
Yeah,
A breath of
this song
fresh
sounds
air.
like the second coming of Christ compared to that fucking song.
Performance on it was interesting, so
But yeah, no, it's
And
nothing
it's-
special, but
no, but
it's an okay song, and it's one of the
Refreshing.
better ones, I'd say.
It sucks too, because of that, tracks 6 through 8 they genuinely feel like a chore to go through. It's so fucking sad, dude. It's such a bad part of the album, and it's like a huge bruise in this like masterpiece of a track list, right, guys? Like,
Oh yeah, no. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for those songs, like, oh, this would be the best album of all time. It's just they kind of drag it down from being a 10 to like a 9.5, you know.
But there's a bit of a palate cleanser after that, though. We do have A320 by Foo Fighters.
I got a
Yes.
hot take for you guys. I love Foo
What's the hot take?
Fighters. This song kind of fell flat for me.
Oh, I like
I
this
thought
one,
it was
actually.
it was
I
it
haven't
was one
listened
of
to
their
much
more
Foo
boring songs.
I mean, once again, it might just be Macy Day Parade syndrome where everything sounds like amazing music after having listened to it. But I really quite like the Foo Fighters track, whatever the fuck it's called, a bunch of numbers.
I feel like if you're a Foo Fighter fan, you're going to be disappointed in this one. But if you've never heard a Foo Fighters song. This is nice.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm coming from. Is like I feel like I've probably heard some of Foo Fighters' biggest songs, but I haven't really dived into Foo Fighters much. So for me, I liked this track.
If you're a fan of Fighting Foos, then you might like this. But other than that, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of fell flat to me. Like I said, it's kind of forgettable. I do remember liking it a hell of a lot more than Macy Day Parade.
Are we just gonna compare everything to Macy Day Parade now?
I'm gonna compare everything in my life to Macy Day Parade by Michael Penn.
Honestly,
I don't think the song's on Spotify either.
It's not.
What, Macy Day Parade?
I wonder why.
Oh no, Macy Day Parade is A320, isn't? Yeah. Like I don't know how they selected. I assume it was to do with like clearance or whatever. Like why some songs are on Spotify, why some songs aren't. But like of all the tracks, the Macy Day Parade is one of the like. How many even on Spotify? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think
5,
like half the album.
6, 7, 8. There's 9 out of 15 tracks on Spotify, and Macy Day Parade is one of them. By the way, that 9 includes the 2 soundtrack songs.
You know, I was going to say the Foo Fighters song. That was one like I liked back on the album when I first heard it. So that song was actually the first Foo Fighters song I ever heard at the time, and then later on I heard some of their later stuff. Right now, though, it's like it's more of a nostalgia thing for me. You know, it's not my favorite song by them. It's just kind of like a hey, this is how I got introduced to them, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I mean, "Come With Me" got me in the P Diddy. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm still waiting
Small
for?
victories.
I'm still waiting for my crossover with Puff Daddy and Akira Ifukube. Like I want to hear "Come With Me" featuring Akira Ifukube.
Please.
I really want to hear that.
Well,
Please.
I think Big Sean, for context, LTB and ONE, Akira Ifukube is the man that scored the original Godzilla film, and he's the fuck. I'm gonna sound like such a dumbass. Which rapper made the song that samples the Godzilla theme? Simon says, "Shut the fuck up."
What?
No, wait. Oh my god, wait.
What?
Okay.
Chris, what are you talking about right now?
Let me do some Google few. Okay. Is it? Oh no! Get the fuck up. Simon says, "Get the fuck up."
I thought you were saying to someone. I thought you were saying Simon says "shut the fuck up" to us. I was like, what?
No. The song is literally called "Simon Says." Okay.
Who's it by? Who's it by?
I don't want to fuck up his name. I'm gonna sound like such a dumbass.
Type it. Type it. I'll see if I can.
Okay. Let me just.
This is news.
My point is. No, you've definitely heard it before.
I don't think I have.
If you hear the song right now, you'll be like,
my life.
What? Okay.
Ferroe Munch.
If you heard the song, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
That is an interesting album cover.
Simon Says. I'm gonna listen to this real quick.
Yeah, dude. It samples the Godzilla theme song.
Okay. Actually,
oh wait, I think I do know this. Fair enough.
I actually on one of Nile's last records, one of their songs just straight up blatantly opens with the Godzilla theme. And I was listening to I was going through Nile's discography, and they're like a death metal band, mind you. It just opens with Godzilla. I was like, excuse me? I was just listening to Nile just because I liked him. It was out of nowhere. But anyways, what's the next song we're talking about?
Well,
we got a bit sidetracked.
My point with that is like Big Sean just released a song last year called "The Baddest," and it samples Akira Ifukube's score of Godzilla, and it's like you think like at least one of these songs was like sample like Akira Ifukube, like
why would they do that?
To tie it all together. Well, yeah, I mean, why would they do that when they can make "Undercover" by Joey DeLuxe?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I cannot wait, man.
And with that,
at least this next song is
good.
This is a doozy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but it's good, but there's a caveat.
Yeah,
So,
it's good with the
Rain
caveat.
Stew by Green Day. Great song, right? It's on this
Yeah.
album. But it's the Godzilla remix.
Remix
Featuring
is
Godzilla,
has
I would
some,
argue.
has a very
I would
big
argue that he
asterisk
spit
next
a
to it.
fire verse on this track.
Boo.
Godzilla straight up became one of the best screamo vocalists of all time on the song.
I'm gonna say it. I prefer the Godzilla version of the original. Sorry.
You have to be lying. There is no way you're serious.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It just adds a little bit of spice.
It does that a bit. Like this version to me is like, it's kind of like a so bad it's good kind of thing. Like, I like the original Brain Stew. I'm not big on Green Day in general, but like I like Brain Stew. But the Godzilla remix is just so fucking stupid and funny to me.
To me, it just adds nothing to the song. This is just like
That's
random Godzilla roars on
You're
a fucking Green Day
talking to
song.
a guy who heard the Godzilla version first
That's
before
fair.
the other one. So that's
Yeah.
So,
that's the thing.
Well,
So what-
here's-
yeah.
So did I. I don't know. I haven't heard Brain Stew. I went and listened to the original, and then I listened to this version.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, after I listened to this version, I don't know how I haven't heard it. I've heard other Green Day songs.
They're almost the exact same song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is this adds nothing? It's like 4 Godzilla screams.
There's some Godzilla roars and the occasional like orchestral strings mix.
Yeah,
and that's
this
pretty
is
much
possibly
it.
the most pointless song of all time.
Yes.
dude, I'm telling you,
Wow.
Green Day was in the studio and they got asked to do this album, and I'm telling you, they must have been like, we're gonna scam the fuck out of these people.
Green Day didn't even work on this.
Easiest
I
bag
guarantee
ever, bro.
right now, yeah.
They're like, just
someone
fuck it, give 'em
else
Brain Stew.
someone else did this, sent it to Green Day and said, "Can we put it on this fucking Godzilla album?" And they were like, "Whatever."
Chris, did you try and get in touch with Green Day? Because I think you should.
They're not gonna fucking
You should
answer.
contact-
You don't
Imagine
know
emailing
that.
Green Day.
Contact
Hi,
Green
do you
Day.
remember the Brain Stew remix from the 1998 Godzilla soundtrack album? How did you make
And
it?
Billy Joe
Well, they
Armstrong will be
probably
like,
don't remember this
absolutely, I
album.
remember.
Yeah.
Dear
Did
Billy,
you bring
no way
what
they
was the
remember this
process
album.
behind? What was the process behind Brain Stew feat Godzilla?
Man, the Godzilla sound, it just like feels like when Thundercat and Mac Miller made that one song and just put a Super Mario sound in it randomly.
Oh yeah. And what's that? What's
I know
that song
exactly
on the
what you're talking
fucking new
called
Denzel Curry
By-
album? That has the Discord
Chord sound?
notification sound. Yeah. That was produced by JPEG Mafia, right? I think it was. I mean, he is the type of guy to do that. I'm gonna check actually.
Next up, we got track 11, Untitled by Silverchair. The song so good they didn't even bother naming it.
And by so good, you mean so unbelievably mid.
I liked it a lot.
I actually loved it. I think it's one of the
Okay.
highlights.
Okay, well, you guys can go first because my notes on this are boring.
All right,
It just
cool.
feels like
I'll pass this the one.
right. It just feels like I don't know if anybody knows that band, but One Eyed Doll. Does anybody? Okay, it's just me. Or like some really early Falling in Reverse type shit. At least to me, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the lyrics are, I'm just another body down, internal bleeding round and round. All I can think of are ways to die alone, and all I can think of are ways to die alone. A portrait of my skeletal gain, left selfish and hungry, so feed me with pain. Yeah, the lyrics actually aren't that long at all. It's really just that, and all I can think of are ways to die alone, repeated like several times, and then, yeah. So,
Sounds like
I mean, the
Monday.
lyrics don't go super in depth, but it seems just to be a song about, I don't know, how did you guys interpret it? I just kind of interpreted it about a song about.
I
Depression
didn't
and, like-
interpret it.
Neither did
I
I'm
was-
not big
I
on
was falling
Silverchair.
asleep.
I know a lot of people really like Silverchair, but I'm not one of those people. I think they're just whatever.
Yeah,
I know
they're
next
fine.
to nothing about them, to be honest.
I mean, for an emo rock track, I kind of fuck with it.
My notes
As far
was
as like
sorry.
lyrics go, I don't think it's like adds much of substance, but I did quite like it, and I do think it's one of the highlights of Godzilla the album, which is not saying that much, but it is a song I will like unironically sometimes maybe like give it a listen. So
Who hurt
at
you?
least when I'm thinking about this album, dude, look, dude, I spent the first like 10 years of my life listening to like anime music, so you just kind of gotta have to take what you can get with me.
Yeah, all I wrote for this song was 6 out of 10, not bad or good, just okay. I don't remember anything about
That's
it.
pretty much how I feel.
Yeah, it's like I said, it makes all the other songs on this album make it look like a fucking masterpiece, but on its own, it's a perfectly fine song. I mean, just out of Silverchair's discography, it's a pretty like non-offensive addition. Does it have anything to do with the movie? Does it have anything to do with the album? Of course not. Fucking no.
Absolutely
not at all. Any final thoughts on Untitled?
I have no thoughts.
It was a forgettable
Just like they
song
didn't
for
have a
me,
title.
Unfortunately.
All right, cool. Next up is Out There by Fuzzbubble. Out There is also interesting because it's on Puff Daddy's single CD for some reason.
I actually kind of like this song.
Versions are seemingly the same.
I
really
didn't
like
like
this
this
track.
song. This was one of my least favorites.
I actually really liked that. I thought it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of
Yeah.
very upbeat and energetic, which I guess is kind of out of place for Godzilla, but still, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little too upbeat. It felt out of place. I didn't really like the chorus. I didn't like a lot of the production choices, especially the synths. They felt a bit grating, to be honest. And I just didn't really like the singing either. I just thought it was all around not the best track in the world at all.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have that much to say about it either. It's just kind of... I was just very bored with it.
I mean, at least
I
this
don't
one...
remember anything from it.
At least this one was memorably bad for me, unlike shit like Macy Day Parade. Like, this one I remember why I didn't like it.
Is there any lyric that stood out to you?
Oh, no, I don't remember any fucking lyrics. I just remember thinking the chorus didn't make much sense and sounded pretty weird.
Or it sounded weird.
That's literally...
Very interesting.
I don't remember lyrics from, like, any of these songs. I know they say come with me and come with me.
I know Macy's Day Parade. The only one, and I mean, I guess we're backtracking, but the only like songs lyrics that like really kind of infatuated me was Air, because it told like a very interesting story. I mean, it had nothing to do with the fucking movie, but it seemed to be like a story about like a near-death experience, and I thought that
It'd
was
be interesting
so
to go back to the lyrics of that song and just go back to that song because, like, I didn't hate it. Like I said earlier, I thought it was pretty decent. So
anyway, next up is our favorite song, and also the last song of the entire album before the David Arnold tracks, "Undercover."
Hell yeah!
By Joey DeLuxe.
Hell yeah!
Sorry,
Fuck
Joey DeLuxe. I'll have you know,
Joey
there's
DeLuxe.
a capital L.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, really? The fuck?
Deluxe.
Okay.
This guy has a capital L in his name.
DeLuxe.
What a douchebag.
Hey, don't bully
What?
Joey
What?
Deluxe. He's like he barely exists. There's like no proof he exists. Because
Wait, I'm
like
googling this guy.
Thank
Joey
God.
DeLuxe.
actually hold
I need
on.
to see what this...
My good pal Howard, as we teased earlier, he was going to come on, but he said he wasn't. But he has a thing he wants to say about Joey Deluxe.
All right, am I good? Can everyone hear me?
All right. Yeah, of course.
Okay, hi, howdy. Okay. So I did a little digging, and I thought he
found his
released
website.
I thought he released just this one song. Turns out he released two. There was one song from Eight Legged Freaks, right? Yeah, I know, throwback, right? But then I found out
Yeah.
he has like a whole EP that's just lost media now. That came out like 4 years after the
Really?
Godzilla soundtrack. Yeah, apparently it was on his website, but like no one cares about him so much, no one downloaded or archived it. So like I could try to like maybe find it, but it took me like an hour of looking, and all I find are like dead website links to like, you know, his personal stuff.
You know what's really
The
crazy
lost
to me?
Media doesn't care?
Joey Deluxe has one song on Spotify, which is this one. And
Yep.
he has 957 monthly listeners.
All from
Which means
this
on
one song.
average, 957 people a month listen to Undercover.
I mean, because it's a masterpiece.
It's a good song.
It's good. Yeah, so if you Google Joey DeLuxe right now, all you get is his last FM, which seems to have photos of, I don't know if, it looks like it's a band, but I'm pretty sure it's not. You
Apparently
get
he was
photos of,
Apparently he's in another
last
movie.
FM.
I was just seeing his IMDb.
oh, interesting. Do you know, did he do soundtracks for that
Eight-Legged
movie? or-
Freak.
Eight-Legged Freak,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that movie.
Eight-legged freaks. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
music department, song Itsy Bitsy Spider.
yeah.
Is it
That's
just some
the.
guy in the Sony office.
I mean, I don't know.
Could
His
Apparently
website.
This is the alter.
His website had like 10 songs total for you to download before the website got deleted, and none of the download songs work because I had to
Yeah, I
use
was
a
gonna
Wayback
say,
Machine.
you can't find his website now. You just find the website of someone else who makes models called Joey DeLuxe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Better use
So
of people's time.
apparently, Joey DeLuxe is the alter ego for sound and music editor Joey Merholz.
Oh. So, okay.
I'm looking up Joey
Who is this
Merholz.
guy?
Because the
Sound
only
of
thing that
Music
pops up
is-
when you search Joey DeLuxe is a Yu-Gi-Oh box set.
Joey Merholz
Okay.
also like makes film music, so I guess
Yeah.
he just changed his name for like 2 movies. And
All right. I mean, good for him.
He's just some dude that they found in the audio mixing department who's like, hey, can you play guitar for 3 seconds, please?
Probably.
They were like, "Hey, we need another song for this album. Can you just like make the closing track?"
All right. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, Howard.
Oh, thank you.
Alright.
Because no one else could
Right.
really, no one else bothered to look into Joey DeLuxe other than him.
I'm glad that we have looked into Joey DeLuxe.
we
I
because
think
so
someone needs to
now-
check on him, make sure he's not like making any bombs or something.
Yeah, what we need to do, if that EP
Or
of his is
touching
lost
people, to
media,
be
we need
quite
to
honest.
find it. It's up to us.
Can we not use the Wayback
No.
Machine or something?
That's what Howard did. He couldn't. All the download links were dead
Well, like
because
that,
of it.
yeah, download
So,
links are usually
if-
broken on
look.
Wayback. That's the problem.
If it's
Man,
anything
I would
like
love to
Undercover
find
or
a
something,
DVD.
should stay lost. Don't you agree?
Man,
Like, we don't have to
I
find
wa-
everything, guys.
I want to become the Joey DeLuxe fan, the only one, and track down this EP.
But there's apparently
If there's-
957 monthly listeners.
Yeah, I
What's
was
that
just
copy
saying
pasta?
that he has
There's, like-
957 monthly listeners from this one song, which means almost 1,000 people a month listen to Undercover on Spotify.
So what you're saying is that 957 people will be thrilled to know that we found his lost E EP.
What should
Yeah,
be like
exactly.
an EP of undercover remixes?
Remixes.
Oh my god.
It's
That's
like the
what our album
Gestapo
should be.
remix.
I bet you we could sample his song and no one would care.
Oh, I
don't
found a
think Sony
listing.
would-
I found a
Let's do
listing
that.
for it on Rate Your Music. It's just got
Really?
like no tracks, no genre. It
I
has a
mean,
year. It
Can-
has
So,
a
let's
cover.
see.
Can you find it on
It has-
They
Discogs?
have a credits list.
One person has rated it.
Oh,
They gave it a 2.5 out of 5,
What the
also known as a
fuck?
5 out of 10.
damn, that's
Wait,
kind of rough.
hold up. Okay, wait. So Undercover was produced by David Arnold.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, I found him on Discogs.
Oh, okay. Good.
and-
Good.
The only listing is for Godzilla the album.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, it was recorded at Capitol Studios in Hollywood. And the only other credit is David Arnold. The only other credit is David Arnold. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, I found the cover of the EP. It's certainly interesting.
I found an old guy with a guitar on YouTube. I don't know if that's him though.
Drop the cover in the chat for the free Joey DeLuxe fan, bro.
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
see
I haven't even
this.
started talking about the song yet.
There's only one image on the
don't
entire
even- we don't even
internet
need
that
to.
exists of the cover of this album, and it's the one from the Rate Your Music page. So it's about 7 pixels.
Eh.
Let's
Here
do
you
an
go,
entire
guys.
episode on this dude.
Oh, that's an incredible picture right
Oh
there.
my god. We should make a dedicated Joey Deluxe podcast.
It's a self-titled EP, by the way.
Of course.
It's just called Joey
my
Deluxe.
God.
You're just gonna form a whole Joey Deluxe podcast.
We are the Joey Deluxe fan base.
Yes.
He should make a deluxe copy of this album.
The Joey Deluxe Deluxe.
Yes, the Joey Deluxe Lux.
Oh
I
my
hope
fucking
Joey
God.
Deluxe sees a re-release very soon.
So what do we really need to say about the song? Like we all know it's a great
We
song.
haven't said.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
haven't
we
said a
haven't even
single
said
fucking
anything
thing
about the song
I
yet.
know. We literally
bro.
been talking about lost tracks and making
Oh
a
my God.
podcast for Joey
Okay.
Deluxe.
So before we get into it, I wanted to specifically ask what LTB's thoughts are, and I think we should take some turns. So LTB, I know you love the song. What
Oh,
are
yeah.
your genuine thoughts on Undercover by
My
Joey
genuine thoughts on Undercover by Joey Deluxe is that it made me want to bash my head against the wall till it bleeds and I pass out.
Deluxe? Interesting. Is there any how would you describe the song as? Like for the listeners, like what type of song is this? What does it sound
To be
like?
honest, I don't really know how to describe the song without insulting Joey Deluxe's character, but I'll try my best. It's sort of like a laid back jazz type song, and we have Joey Deluxe himself kind of very well, I would say very smoothly singing, but it's smooth in a grating way. Over the top of this, I assume he was attempting to be sexy, to be very seductive. It certainly didn't come out that way. It certainly almost came out the opposite of that. But it's certainly a song, and it definitely exists on Godzilla the album from 1998.
Yeah, and do you know what the song's story is? Like, do you know what perspective it's coming from? Like, did you pick up on any of that, or
I
is
picked
this
up
just a
on
total, like,
me
mystery?
wanting to off myself.
Okay. I'll ask Nick about it, because I think Nick had a pretty interesting theory about how it might relate to the movie, which, to be honest, is a Halo reach, in my opinion. But
Okay,
it's the
well,
only way I
I'm
can
interested to
possibly
hear the
justify it.
theory.
With Joey, with the Undercover?
Yeah.
I think it ties to the French guy and his undercover men in the movie. So the movie has Philip, who's a Secret Service Frenchman sent over to recover and also hide any information that the French nuclear test caused Godzilla in the movie. So it's him and like 6 other French Foreign Legion guys are in there. And during all the events of the movie, they're like hiding kind of in the background, or they're stealing intel from the military with like audio tapes and stuff. And then at the end of the movie, he takes like the whole entire newscasting of Godzilla's report in New York and says, "Oh, I'll give it back after I edit some details," implying he's going to remove all the stuff with France out. But yeah, I think the song fits his character well, because it fits his charisma and the way he kind of is in the movie. He's a very smooth talking, like the lyric in the song, like a smooth talking man, like that. Like he literally does that in one scene. Like he pretends to be an American and sneaks past the military and stuff in a really silly kind of way, but it fits with his character really well. And I thought for the longest time, ever since I heard the song back in the 2000s, that was the first thing I thought of was it's the French guy.
Well, I have some very interesting further Joey Deluxe lore to drop on you guys
no.
right now.
Oh,
I've just
oh
been
boy.
doing some further research because
this.
I decided to look up the lyrics to Undercover on Genius, and it appears that Joey Deluxe himself commented on the lyrics on Genius
Oh my god.
4 years ago.
Four
to correct them.
years ago.
Oh no!
And I can only assume that this is actually him, because who the fuck else would it be? Especially since it specifically includes the capital L in his name, and he knows the correct lyrics for the song. That's pretty amazing.
So what did he have to say about it?
Well, so there was apparently a missing. I don't know if it's even been corrected. It hasn't. So clearly, no one listened to him. He said, "The ingratiate is the missing word. The next line starts, till she's endeared at the loins."
Well, when I get home, I'll make the edit on Genius myself.
Yeah, someone needs to make the edit because the missing and the incorrect lyric are both still there. So
All right, I'll
despite
take it
Joey
upon
DeLuxe
myself.
himself correcting the lyrics, no one took him up on his correction.
Can we get him in for an interview?
We might be able to.
I mean, I kind of feel bad because we did shit on his song, but like, I do want to hear like.
I mean, I was gonna say,
like,
do you think he cared? But he cared enough to go on Genius 4 years ago and correct the lyrics to it, so he probably does care.
Honestly, yeah.
I think he's a nice guy.
I think so too. We love Joey DeLuxe, and we think he should go on the show. And I also love his song "Undercover" by Joey DeLuxe. With a capital L.
I really hope Joey DeLuxe gets big. I hope he's like one of those artists that like, you know, he dropped a couple singles in 1998, obviously the one in 2002. He disappeared off the map, and then he's going to reappear this year.
Big
2023
comeback.
is the year of Joey DeLuxe, and suddenly he's going to drop his debut album. It's going to like blow people away. It's going to be like, why did this guy disappear for so many years? And it's like he was working on this project for 15 years.
Listen.
This year, next out of Atlanta for sure.
This
I
year,
said
2023,
15
is
years. Way longer than
the
that.
25th anniversary
5
of
years.
Godzilla 1998. So it's no better year to come back for Joey DeLuxe than this year.
25th anniversary of his one and only song,
Exactly.
and 25 years working on his masterpiece, which I can only assume will be dropping this year.
Exactly.
Chris,
I mean, the most
LTB.
interesting. They
How about-
did record it at Capitol Records, which is like probably one of the most famous studios ever. So I mean, like they must have had like some fun. I think Sony just wrote him a check and he was like, "Fuck it, bro, I'll make a song. I've
Probably.
never done one before."
I would not be surprised if Joey DeLuxe just worked at Sony and was like, "Yeah, I'll make a song. Fuck it."
But the most interesting thing though is it seemingly David Arnold produced it, and David Arnold scored the entire movie.
Yeah, this does not. This is the least kind of movie sounding song on here.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it sounds more movie oriented than like some of the more rocky tracks on here, but like it's I mean, for starters, it's a completely different genre to like everything else on the album. Like even the Diddy track obviously samples a Led Zeppelin song, so it's fairly rock orientated, but like this song is so out of place. It sounds like nothing else on this album. I can't believe this is on here, to be quite honest.
What are your thoughts on
First off, I just wanted to ask LTB and Chris if you guys would be willing to feature Joey DeLuxe on our album.
If we can somehow contact Joey DeLuxe in his like first online appearance in 4 years, that would be incredible, and I would want him on there.
Because
Honestly,
it's not like he's a bad singer. It's just the song's like boring. And that's not even like his fault because David Arnold produced it.
I'm sure he could sing better in other styles.
yeah.
I'm not sure he sings well in this one.
I think he can sing I think he can rap.
Yeah, I think he could
yeah,
spit a verse,
I-
to be honest.
My theory is, or at least this is just what comes across to me. I almost feel like this was like David Arnold's friend, and being on the album itself was just like a personal favor because no one else is credited on the song except David and Joey. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
just
that's
think
not a bad
interesting.
theory. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. Although, if his friend was like, "Oh, David, you got to put me on the Godzilla album, like, help me boost my career," like, this is his career. This song.
Yeah, that's true. And
I also
speaking
am
of
really
David,
intrigued. Sorry, I'm really intrigued to know who put the Joey DeLuxe EP on Rate Your Music,
Joey
because
DeLuxe.
that's like the only. I mean,
Dude,
considering
he
he
did, bro.
corrected his own lyrics on Genius, I would not put it past him.
So let's wrap this up real quick. Obviously, we have the last two David Arnold tracks. I think we kind of covered the score in the last episode, so we won't go too in depth. I don't know if LTB or One heard these tracks, but
I did
obviously,
listen to them.
yeah. Did you like it?
I thought it was fairly standard movie soundtrack. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like David Arnold's work, so.
I haven't.
know,
I don't
Juan,
think
do you
I've
listen
heard. I mean, I've probably heard some of his other movie soundtracks, like in movies. I don't know, but
like I
Right.
said,
I
he's
don't-
done a
I've
bunch of the
never deliberately listened to any of them.
90s Bond stuff, if you've seen those.
Those might be the
and
only
that would
Bond movies
explain
that
why he did Undercover.
There you go.
There you go.
Holy shit!
I
It's
mean,
all coming
yeah,
together.
okay,
No,
that makes sense. It fits his style.
What if Undercover was meant for the James Bond movie?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, what if he was like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, like a throwaway track.
what if he was like, this could have been in Goldeneye. Let's put it in Godzilla.
Yeah, I think even
Oh
like
my
James
God.
Bond was in the lyric to the song. So
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Actually,
no, the whole movie is like a secret agent James Bond themed.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that must have had some sort of connection, because fucking why else is it on here?
Yeah.
like I think there was like a lyric. It's like James
my God, no,
Bond
there's
is a mystery lover, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spam spade James Bond, Philip Marlowe's secret agent lover.
there we
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
And there's like
This is the
there's two verses after that are further about not James Bond, but like allude to James Bond and like spy shit. So like honestly, the theory that this is like a James Bond throwaway track is pretty solid. I mean,
Probably
he
the
name
only
drops
people that ever noticed.
he names drops James Bond, and there's like multiple verses about secret agents. So like
Oh my god, bro.
honestly,
That's so crazy.
maybe.
Dude,
I mean,
we're so
the
smart.
chorus is about secret agents.
Yeah, like what the fuck does that do with Godzilla, bro?
It's a James Bond throwaway track.
Yeah. So
What was the last James Bond movie David Arnold worked on?
we're so infatuated with this one song. I still can't get past it, bro. All right, let's just change the subject from Undercover. We can talk about Undercover all day.
The bonus track.
Obviously, the David Arnold score and like is just great in my opinion. It's probably like one of the only like objectively good things that came out of this movie. David Arnold's super talented. Obviously, he's on a ton of other projects. I'd really look into him if I were you. But
Sorry. Continue.
there's one more song.
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
One more.
Yeah,
We'll
you may have been the
briefly
only
go
person to listen to it, Chris.
Yeah.
I actually checked
Well,
it out.
would you like to describe to us the bonus track?
Okay. I'll do it very briefly because obviously the whole song is spoken in Japanese, so I don't know what it's about or what they're saying. And I didn't bother looking up the lyrics because I figured that we're just gonna only briefly talk about this. But and forgive me if I butcher this pronunciation, but Lark NCL is the
Lark
name of the
en
song. Lark NCL. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a. What is it?
It's
Is it like?
French.
It's French. Okay.
Yeah.
By Lose Control, which I believe is a Japanese band. I hadn't
it's
heard
a
of them
Japanese
before
band.
this. So this song was only included on Japanese copies of this album, and I think, and the reason why I have little interest in actually like covering the song is, I think the song is like unrelated to this album, and I think they just threw it on just for the CD. So I think it's probably not made for this movie at all. But it's an interesting little factoid. I did listen to it. It's actually a really cool song. But yeah, like I said, just kind of straight up not as interesting as Undercover by Joey DeLuxe. And
Which
you know,
probably
other
also
than that-
wasn't made in this movie.
yeah, probably also not. Other than that, though, that was Godzilla the album. The only thing I think we miss is there are a few versions of Deeper Underground out there, but you'll just have to find those yourself because I cannot be bothered to listen to Deeper Underground again.
Missing out, Chris.
And with that was Godzilla the album.
An amazing
Final
album.
thoughts?
It's the album. There is
an
no
album.
other album.
It's very nostalgic for me.
The album of all
Oh my
time.
God.
If I were to
This-
listen to another album after having listened to this album, I'd have to stop. I'd have to go back
Unless it's the
Undercover.
Joey Deluxe album.
to come with me to A3 fucking whatever by the Foo Fighters. This album's amazing. It's a masterpiece.
Should have won album of the year at the Grammys that year.
It deserved its platinum. It deserved it.
Did you say this album went number 2 on Billboard?
Yes.
That's
Did it actually?
crazy.
Incredible.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's the funniest part.
That
I'm
means
shocked
that
it wasn't number
like
one.
that means that when this album released, like thousands of people heard "Undercover" by Joey DeLuxe.
Thank God.
That is right.
Yeah. Next time you're at the flea market or the Savers, whatever, look through the CDs. I'll bet you $5 you find a copy of this.
I will
They are
do
so common. I
exactly
have 2
that.
copies myself. Yeah. They are super common.
Man,
They
I'm
sold
buying
really
one.
well, and then
I'm
it seemingly was forgotten.
I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna put it on in the car. I'm gonna subject my whole family to this album.
You should buy a copy for everyone in your family, dude. Like, it's such a good album.
This is my Christmas gifts for next year. Is I'm gonna buy everyone Godzilla the album.
I'm going
God-
to subject
God
my
bless.
family.
My own final thoughts. Obviously, the album isn't that good, but I do have a nostalgic love for it, and overall, I do think it's a halfway decent compilation album. The highs are okay, and the lows are really low. So, because of that, it's I'd rate it like a 5 or like a 6 at absolute best on a good day. Like there's a few tracks in there, like "Come With Me's" probably an okay song. Like I said, I did like "Air," I did like "Brain Stew," but "Brain Stew" isn't even really from this album. It's a fucking remix.
Yeah.
So
Kind of bad one at that.
yeah, but like I said, this album did really well. It probably sold better than the movie did, and overall, I'm sure Sony was happy that they made this, but from a critical standpoint, it's definitely a huge miss.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's similarly probably a 5 out of 10. I'd maybe drop it to a 4 out of 10, but like, no, I'll go 5 because most of the songs are tolerable. There's 1 or 2 real stinkers, but like, most of the songs are just like okay, and there's a couple standouts, like the ones I said earlier, like the Rage Against the Machine song, I forget the name now, and the Foo Fighters one, which whatever. I literally cannot remember the name of that, but other than that, this album, yeah, it's certainly an album. I don't know what else to say.
All right, cool. 1 in the morning, and Nick, David, any final thoughts?
Everyone's basically said my thoughts already on it. I don't really need to add any more.
Yeah, this is an album that can literally be described as by the term nothing. It is nothing.
Are you glad I made you listen to it?
You know what? I'll say this, right? So I'm a dedicated Drake hater, right? But I've recently been going through his discography because I feel like I owe myself to at least listen to him if I'm gonna hate on him. But his albums consistently put me to sleep. This one didn't. So I'll give it that.
I feel like that's a good place to end off the episode on.
Yeah.
I'll say
Nick, any last words?
It's a album of its time, I think, is one of the things to look at it, and I have it's very nostalgic for me. So because it was one of the first CDs that I actually got back in the early 2000s. It was like 2002, like just after 2001 when I got it. And like it's a good piece of history, I think, for the Godzilla community.
Awesome. And with that was episode 2 of No Croissants with Chicken Man, David, Nick, and our special guest LTB and ONE in the morning. Before we log off, is there anything you guys want to plug?
I make music. It's on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, YouTube, LTB. I have a YouTube channel, Let There Be Games. That's about it.
Please
That's
don't
the
remove
one
the
word, by
lines
the way.
from the album.
Awesome. So that sounds like it's it. So have a good night, folks, and don't listen to this album. Just listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers or something. This isn't worth your time.
Listen to More Life by Drake.
And listen to Joey DeLuxe. Please message us.
Joey DeLuxe, I need your email. I need your phone number. I need your home address. I need your kids' names.
All right, well, I'm stopping the recording there.